and welcome to yoga this morning. As ever, you do yoga at your own risk, so pay attention to how you feel in every posture that you do. You don't have to take all the adjustments. You don't have to go into the full posture anytime. You can come out early. You make your own decision based on how you feel. So we're going to start lying down, finding a comfy place to lie on your back and placing your feet wherever they feel comfy, maybe together, maybe as wide apart as the mat. Turning your palms face up, arms maybe a little way away from you. Find where your shoulders can relax on the floor. You may need a rock side to side just to find that place of sort of heaviness of your shoulders and your shoulder blades on the floor. And then close your eyes. Bring your attention to your breath. Then imagine that you have a balloon in your abdomen, in your tummy, and as you breathe in, the breath makes that balloon expand, but it's right down in your abdomen. It expands as you breathe in, and then as you breathe out, that balloon softens back down. So you have an awareness that your arms and your legs and your shoulders and your head all completely relaxed. You visualize your balloon and the breath comes naturally, so when the breath comes in, you just feel the action that makes on your balloon, inflating it in your abdomen. Then your abdomen rise, and then as you exhale, just feel how it softens. And maybe the visualization lets your breath slow down slightly. That's good if it does, and if it doesn't, that's fine as well. But let it go how it wants to, just let it become natural. You're not forcing it slower or deeper, but let it happen if it happens. Carry on with that balloon in your abdomen. Carry on breathing that way. I'll describe what we're going to change it to, and then when you're ready to change, then you change. So you have your balloon in your abdomen. You have another soft balloon, uninflated, just gentle, puffy, soft balloon in your rib cage. And so when you breathe in, you're going to breathe in through your, you're going to inflate your abdomen balloon. But when that comes to that point of just comfortable fullness, you're going to keep it inflated, and then you're going to also inflate the balloon that's in your rib cage. And when that one comes to fullness as well, then you slowly let them both go. So you have two balloons. You fill your abdomen balloon with the start of your breath. You hold that full as you then breathe into your chest balloon. And when they're both comfortably full, then slowly let them both down. Arms and legs still completely relaxed as that goes on. One more full cycle like that. And then carry on with that, but also join your arms in. So it'll be as you inhale, as usual, you reach your arms up and over beyond your head. And as you exhale, they come back down. But still think about the balloons. You might find that your chest balloon is a bit compromised. But it's noticing what it feels like for you and making any adjustments that you need to work it out into the place that works for you. And that's the case throughout the whole yoga class. As you continue, just think what it feels like for you. Don't think, oh, I can't breathe in through my chest because my arms are stretching and it's too tight. Just find a way to make it work. If it doesn't work, then that's fine, you don't do it. But maybe there is an adjustment. Always a compromise if it's needed. So we're going to finish the next time your arms go beyond your head and just leave them stretched out beyond. And when that happens, then just let your breath come to a natural breathing pattern. Don't have to worry about balloons anymore. So arms stretching overhead. Bring your legs together, push your heels away, pull your toes up towards you. Stretch your fingers wide, stretch your toes wide, spread them. And then release your hands, relax your hands and your feet, relax your arms, bring them back gently by your sides. And then bend your knees, feet onto the mat. Knees onto your chest, hands around your knees. Have a little rock side to side. And then settling back to the centre so that you can place your feet on the floor and take a roll over to one side to come up to standing. Tadasana, mountain pose. Just take a moment to see how you're standing and what you would adjust. If somebody was looking at you, maybe they are, how would you adjust yourself to be more balanced right and left? To be as tall as you can be, but without sort of stretching to make that happen. So not bananaing, not pushing your rib cage out. Just your natural, comfortable height with a little bit of elongation. So bones don't stretch, but there are places where you can lift, particularly the sides of your waist. That's going to make you taller, lengthening there. Shoulders hoiked up doesn't make you any taller, so they can relax. And tilting your head back doesn't make you taller either. Chin wants to be parallel with the floor. It's almost like you're being picked up from just behind the back of your ears. That's the lift. And our shoulders naturally roll forward, so the outside tip of your shoulders pointing to the side walls. Nice. So keep that feeling, that balanced left and right tall feeling. Reach your arms up to the ceiling, moving into our salute to the sun. So look up between your hands, reach back and wide, lift the centre of your chest up towards the ceiling. So now a little bit of banana-ing shape, but relax your shoulders still, turn your armpits up towards the ceiling, big stretch towards the back corners of the ceiling with your fingertips, and then look forwards, reach up forward fold, a bend of your knees so that you can get your fingertips on the floor. Right foot steps back to a lunge. So a little rounding as your back. It's quite tempting to round your back, especially when at the start of the class, but see what you can do to lengthen your back. Left foot back to down face dog. So ground into the floor. Draw your tummy button up towards your spine. Slide forwards to plank. Hold it steady. Gently knees down onto the floor. And then smoothly front body all the way down. Roll your shoulders back, elbows close into your sides. Lift your chest. So as you lift your chest, feel how you're lengthening the front of your body and shortening your upper back. And look down at the floor, push up to hands and knees, tuck your toes under, back into down face dog. Take a walk through your legs. So it's your opportunity to get a good stretch of the backs of your legs. Keeping your hips lifted and back as you do that. Tempting to let them slide forwards, but and then both heels ease towards the floor, calves ease towards the wall behind. Weight on your left foot. Look between your hands. Step your right foot through to a lunge. Again, lengthen your back. And then step the left foot forwards. Forward fold. Deep bend of your knees, hips down low, then lift your shoulders. With an arched back, but you just need to straighten your legs to bring yourself to standing. Palms together, find your tallest again, balance left and right, and then slide your palms down. Making sure tips of your shoulders pointing to the side walls. Sides of the waist lifting. And then lift your arms again. Look up, reach back and wide, centre of your chest, closer to the ceiling. Look forwards, reach up, forward fold. Left leg back to a lunge. Right foot back to down face dog. And then glide forwards to plank, smoothly forwards. Hold it steady. And if you're feeling strong, leave your knees lifted. Otherwise, place your knees down on the floor. A smooth lower down. And roll your shoulders back. A lift of your chest. Look back down. Push up to hands and knees. Tuck your toes under. Back into down face dog. Tummy button to spine and firm down through your hands and feet. So with the stretch in the backs of the legs from last time, can you sort of replicate that feeling on both legs at the same time by pulling your calves back towards the wall behind? Hands firm down into the floor because you need that firm pressure in your hands to get the backward action in your legs. And then weight on your right foot. Look between your hands. Step your left foot through to a lunge. Right foot steps forward, forward fold. A deep bend of your knees, hips down low. Hips stay low, shoulders lift. And then you straighten your legs. Find your full height and then keep that full height as you slide your hands down. So with the breath this time. Breath in to lift your arms. Smooth, continuous movements. Exhale, back bend. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, right leg back to a lunge. Exhale, down face dog. Inhale, plank. Option to drop your knees. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, lift your chest. Exhale, down face dog. So find your best down face dog. Tummy button to spine, hands firm on the floor. And that feeling of calves pulling back to the wall behind, feeling how your hands have got to work hard. So whole of the hand pressing into the floor. And then not just your calves, but the whole of the backs of your thighs. As if there's a wall a millimetre behind your legs, push your thighs back to that wall. Inner thighs as well. Touching it and even pressing onto it. And then weight on your left foot, look between your hands. Breath in, right foot through. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, stand up. Exhale, palms down. Breath in here. Breath out. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, back bend. Inhale up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, left leg back. Exhale, down face dog. Inhale, plank. Option to drop your knees. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, lift your chest. Exhale, down face dog. Find your best position. Tummy button to spine. Feel your hands firm on the floor. No air gaps underneath anywhere in your hands. Then squeeze your calves back to that imaginary wall behind. Then let your thighs feel that wall. Even the inside edge of the back of your thighs. And squidge as much of your legs onto that wall as you can. Use your hands on the floor to push back into that wall. Weight on your right foot. Look between your hands. And then a breath in. Left foot forwards. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, stand up. Palms together. Exhale, palms down. Breath in here. And a breath out. And a step apart of your feet. Rest your arms. Just letting the chatter in your body die down. And we're going to balance in tree today. So maybe off the mat if you find that a little easier to balance. Or moving to where you can find something to put a hand out to if you feel you need that bit of assistance. So tree, I always suggest that you try not to use a balance. And instead to keep toes on the floor, because I think toes on the floor is harder than foot on your leg and something with your hand, because you've got such a small place where you've got any contact with anything solid. I think it's better than having a bit down there and a bit up here. That makes it really quite easy. So do try toes on the floor rather than a hand balance if you can. So the same mountain pose, equally balanced weight and, right and left, and as tall as you can be. So lifting up through the sides of the waist as well, but relaxing the shoulders. So how little of the rest of your body can you move as you bend your left knee and turn it out to the side? And we're going to find our leg position. So either heel to ankle if you want a little bit of assistance with your balance, or foot to calf, or foot to thigh, whichever you choose. And if you try foot to thigh, don't worry if it doesn't work out the whole time. You can change and go down onto your calf halfway, that's fine. So the same standing tall position, bring your palms together. You might find that, you might find that the left side of your waist is feeling a bit curved. So can you make both sides of your waist feel equally long? Really lift up through both sides. Find a place where you can hold your gaze and then lift your arms. Slow, steady breaths. Final breath in here. And then as you exhale, bring your palms together. So it wasn't the final breath in, was it? This one is breath in. And then foot down onto the floor. So take your feet a little bit apart. Have that moment of seeing if it will settle down on its own, but shake if anything feels caught. And then feet together again. So stand to your fullest. And then move as little as you can, because your centre of gravity will completely change as you move onto one foot. So things will need to rebalance, but move as little as you can as you bend your right knee, turn the knee out to the side. Find the same place with your foot. If you've got an injury on one side, you might need a different place, but if you can, the same. So palms together. Find the place where you're going to hold your gaze. Keep the right knee easing out to the right. Lift up through both sides of the waist. Relax your shoulders. So just a steady pace of breath. Lift your arms. Breath in. Exhale, palms together. Breath in. Exhale, foot to the floor, feet a little bit apart. Just have a moment there. And then have a lie down on your front, on your mat. Make a pillow with your hands to rest your forehead on. Take a moment there. We'll start with a little firming of the core, coming up onto hands and knees. So if hands and knees isn't for you, then stay on the floor. Oh, Paddy's not here, is he? We can all come onto hands and knees. Good week to do this. If you're watching the video, Paddy, sorry. So a nice square position with your knees underneath your hips, your hands underneath your shoulders, and then notice how if you relax a little bit there, you get a sort of sink in your lower back, and you get a sort of bulging up of the tops of your arms into your shoulders. So draw your tummy button up towards your spine. That sorts the lower back out, and then it's like a lengthening of your shoulders away from your ears and a pushing into your hands. You want to lift up away from the floor, but not to the extent that you then round your upper back widthways. Imagine that you've got like a plank of wood across the top of your shoulders, and you're just going to hold it steady there. So you've got to have a longish neck. There's no shrinking your neck back, otherwise the back of your head's going to knock that plank of wood. And another plank along the across your hips, across the lower back, holding them level. And your tummy button is going to hold your back of your waist up as well. So you're going to stretch out the right leg out behind. So that plank of wood on your hips maybe will fall over to the left a little bit. Don't let it. So keep the right hip firmly down. It's almost like you're lifting the inside of the leg more than the outside of the leg. Naturally, we want to lift the outside of the leg and open the hip up. But we're not going to do that. We're going to keep the hips completely square. So it feels like you're lifting your inner thigh and inner heel. Tummy button lifted again. Stretch out the left arm in front. So keep both of those planks, the one across your hips, one across your shoulders, completely straight, unmoving. And then lengthen. Push the right heel away. Push the left fingers away in the other direction. And then gently bring your left hand back down onto the floor and your right knee. Have a moment there. And then bring your 2 planks back again. Tummy button drawing in. Left leg stretches out behind. So remember, lift up through the inner leg. That's going to stop you feeling like you want to lift the left hip. Don't want to roll your plank off to the right. Tummy button to spine, right arm straight out in front, shoulders square, and then lengthen. Stay there, lengthen, lengthen. Lovely. So it's really the lower back that wants to sag, isn't it? Tummy button to spine will really help. And then knee to the floor, hand to the floor. Actually, hand to the floor, knee to the floor is a little easier, I think. Then sit back on your heels. Have a moment to rest. Rest your arms as well, wherever they're comfy. Bent arms, I think, is comfier than straight for me. And then back to hands and knees. So same place again. Little bit of variation on this. So get your 2 planks in place and then stretch the right leg out behind, left arm out in front. So this is really going to cause the lower back to sag a little bit. So hold the tummy button in tight, elongate, take a breath in, and then as you exhale, take the arm and leg out to the diagonal. So right leg a little out to the right, left arm out a little to the left. Keep the planks there. Keep the back of your waist lifted. Hold it steady. And then we're going to come back to the centre line. Keep long. Knee to the floor, hand to the floor. Have a moment. So the other side. Square yourself up first and then extend the left leg out behind. Lifting up through the inside of your leg mostly. Right leg, right arm stretches out. So everything's square. Back of the waist not sagging. Take a breath in. Exhale out to the diagonal. And then back to the centre line. Keep elongated. Hand to the floor, knee to the floor. Back into child's pose. And then from child's pose, slide all the way back onto your front again, back where you started, pillow with your hands. Lift yourself up onto your elbows into Sphinx pose. Elbows are under shoulders, so make sure they're not wide of your shoulders, right directly under your shoulders, and palms face down on the floor in front. And then your feet are just hip distance apart. So you've got a natural curve in your back, your shoulders are hoisted and they can't go down, so your back has to be a bit curved. We want less curve in the lower back though, where it likes to take the curve. If you can pull your tailbone downwards, lengthening your lower back, forces the upper back to do a bit more work. So think about lengthening from your tummy button up towards your throat. Lengthening that line, shortening the line at the back. So where your shoulder blades are on your back, it's almost like you're trying to contract that length. Lengthening the back, lengthening the front, shortening the back, keeping your tailbone lengthened. That same feeling as well, again, that the tips of your shoulders are pointing to the side walls rather than forwards. They like to go forwards. So it's like you're rolling your shoulders back. We're going to move into, in a moment, we're going to move into Cobra Pose, Bhujangasana, where you don't have the luxury of your shoulders being supported as you're lifting, but it's the same feeling as that lengthening at the front, the shortening at the back. So gently lower yourself back down, find your pillow again. And if Cobra Pose is too strong, then Sphinx Pose is your option. Slightly lighter option. For Cobra, hands underneath your shoulders. So right underneath, right in the shadow of your shoulders, not out to the sides, not forwards. Even your fingernails would be in the shade if the sun was above you. Chin and forehead on the floor. Lengthen your tailbone. And in order to roll your shoulders back, feel like your elbows are pulling down towards your feet. So now you're going to lift your chest. Light in your hands, so a little bit of support, but only light. And a feeling like you're lengthening the front, shortening the back, and making the outside tips of your shoulders point out to the sides. If your lower back feels like it's taking a bit of a strain, see if you can pull your tailbone down to your heels a little bit more. More length in the front, shorter in the back. Elbows in, and then gently lower back down. Forehead on the floor. That forehead on the floor feels quite nice. It gives a stretch to the back of the neck, because we tend to, when you're lifting your chest, tend to lift your head as well, further than you need to feel like you're kind of pulling it up in that direction. So a stretch on the back of the neck is nice. Lengthening your tailbone and elbows pulling towards your feet. You're going to lift your chest. Lengthening the front, shortening the back. Imagine that you were going to try and pull yourself forwards along the mat. So you sort of pull your hands in towards you to get that forward thrust. So make that action with your hands to see if you can get more lift in your chest. So it doesn't matter how high you are. So now a little bit more action with your hands. But still long in the front, short at the back. And a steady breath. Lovely, gently back down. Forehead down onto the mat. So one more Cobra. Tailbone lengthens, elbows towards your feet, and then lift your chest. So get that initial lift, this time with your hands. Well, with your elbows, squeeze your elbows close in, feel them on the sides of your ribs. This time push your hands forwards and down as if you're trying to dig them into the mat. Squeezing your elbows in, a little bit of lift of your chest. It's strong on the arms, so if you don't lift, it doesn't matter, but still long in the front, shortening at the back. And a steady breath. One more slow cycle of breath here. And then gently back down. Find your pillow again. yourself rest, legs rest as well. Hands under shoulders, push up to hands and knees, and then take your knees as wide apart as the mat, big toes touching, hands nice and strong on the floor so that you can push your hips right back. Use your hands to push your hips back where they might spring forwards otherwise. Keep them pushing back. Lower your chest towards the floor. It's like you're snuggling your rib cage between your legs. And then you can relax when you get there. So if you're not on the floor, make some structure with your hands to see if you can get a bit of support for your forehead. So stay there. Maybe front ribs can go a little closer to the floor once you've been there a moment or two. And slide your hands under your shoulders. Lift your chest, bring yourself all the way up. We're going to come up to standing. So we're going to do standing postures that face the wide edge of the mat today. So if you can, have your mat facing this away, and we're going to stand like this. If you haven't got the space, then that's fine. Have your mat the other way in that case. And if you have got your mat that way, then turn to the left. Start turns to the left. I'm going to start with second warrior. So if you're turned to the left, then when you turn your gaze, you'll be looking towards the front. Wonderful. So feet step wide apart. Hands on hips. Left leg turns in, or the back leg, the leg furthest away from me turns in, because I think some people turn different ways. So let's call this the back leg. That's the leg that's furthest away from the, oh no, no one's gone the wrong way. I don't know. Back leg turns in, front leg turns out. And then you're going to square yourself up to the front of your mat. So we're going to think about the back leg and squeeze the thigh. You don't have to squeeze at the knee because that's not good for a lot of knees, but squeeze the thigh and then also press the foot into the floor. Imagine it's a wooden pole diagonally down and you're trying to push that wooden pole down into the ground. Take a breath in, and then as you exhale, bend the front knee. So your spine stays vertical. Your pole stays pushing into the ground. Have a quick look at your front leg. Make sure that your knee isn't forwards of your ankle. Just creep your foot forwards if it is. And that your knee's pointing in the same direction as your toes. And hold the knee out to that direction as you spread your arms, turn yourself to the front. So back to that back leg, that pole of a leg. Squeeze it tight, make it solid. Dig it into the floor, an inch down into the floor in your mind's eye. Take a breath in. And then as you exhale, you just sink off it, you hang off it and let your hips sink. So you can be looking forwards, or you can look over your right fingers. So another breath in, really tighten your pole, dig it down an inch. And then as you exhale, just sink down your hips, hanging off that pole. One more breath in, dig it in again. Exhale, sink. Beautiful. And then on your next breath in, come all the way up. Hands on hips. Turn your toes to the front. A breath or two there. So other side this time. This time this is your back leg. So back leg in, front leg out, other side. So find the new pole down the back leg, diagonal line, digging into the floor. Take a breath in, and then as you exhale, bend the left knee. So feel how that pole is holding everything, and you can just sink off it. So it makes it a bit easier to bend this knee. Makes it a bit easier to let it go right out to the side. Have a quick check of your front leg. Lovely. And then spread your arms wide. Look either forwards or out over the front arm. So feel that pole again. Dig it an inch down into the floor. Take a breath in. And then exhale, sink down. Just release off it. Breath in again. Re-engage. Re-dig down. Exhale, sink. One more breath in. Final breath out. Breath in to come all the way up. Hands on hips. Toes to the front. A moment there. And then gently heel toe or walk your feet to hip distance apart. So always nice after a strong posture to have a bit of a back bend to stretch the lower back. So hands on hips, Uttanasana, breath in, top of the chest lifts, and then as you exhale you hinge from your hips. So your legs stay vertical, just your spine hinges over flat. And when it won't go any further, you take a good bend of your knees. Then let your tummy go towards your thighs, your front ribs towards your knees. Let go of your hips, take a hold of the opposite elbow with each hand. Let everything relax. Well, let your whole upper body relax. So your feet are still nice and strong into the floor. You're going to stay there for a few breaths. As you press your feet into the floor, the whole width of both feet, sorry. Feel how your legs have a bit of strength. In your mind's eye, see your tailbone being supported by your hips, and then the rest of your spine just draped over your thighs, headed towards the floor. Release your elbows, a deeper bend of both knees. Tuck your tailbone under, chin in, roll back up to standing. Lovely. That's it. So feet step wide apart. That's it. So, sorry Charles, you didn't hear me. Slowly back up to standing, don't rush. Parsvakonasana, side angle stretch. So hands on hips, back leg in, front leg out. So this is the first side again. And you're going to have that same strength in the back leg, like a wooden pole digging into the floor. Take a breath in, exhale, bend the front knee. So this time you really want the ankle to be slightly forwards of the knee, because we might go down a bit further. Even if you don't think there's any possibility of that, there might be. Take it wide. Turn to the front. Right hand, back hand behind your back. Front arm out to the front. So dig your pole into the ground. Take a breath in, and then reach those front fingers right to that wall that they're coming towards. And when they won't go any further, sink your hips, elbow to knee. So have a moment there. And then the hand that's behind your back, you're going to reach straight up towards the ceiling, vertical. So where your elbow's on your knee, it's really easy to sink down into it, but lift up out of it instead. And as you lift up out of it, dig your pole, your back leg, into the floor, an inch into the floor. Then see what this side of your body, this top side of your body is doing. Can you roll it all back towards the wall behind? And then take the arm to join that diagonal line, to make one long diagonal line from the end of your pole that's dug into the floor to your fingers reaching away. Remember that you're lifting up out of your elbow that's on your knee. Maybe turn and look up at the ceiling in front of that outstretched arm. Lovely. Breathing steady. And then that top hand is going to come behind your back, palm face out. Look down at your front foot, turn your shoulders towards it, let your upper body relax a little bit. Then push down firmly into that front foot. Take a breath in to come up. Hands on hips, that looks fantastic. Turn your toes to the front. So to the other side. So the other leg is now the back leg. That's going to turn in. Front leg turns out. Back leg becomes your pole. So dig it in. Take a breath in. Exhale, bend the front knee. So you want to keep your spine vertical, just like second warrior here. Quick check down of the leg and ankle just in front of the knee. And then back hand behind your back, palm face out. Front arm stretches out. So your pole might have come a little bit loose, so re-dig. Take a breath in, and as you exhale, reach out to this front wall. So dig your pole in, dig your pole in. When you can't go any further, sink and then elbow to knee. So you sink, but then you get a bit of support. If you sunk lower than you can actually hold. But once you've got that elbow on knee, once you've sunk in there, lift up out of it and reach the other arm directly to the ceiling. So poles come loose again, dig it back into the ground, and then roll the whole of this upper side of your body back to the wall behind. Lifting up of the elbow that's on the knee again. Extend that diagonal line. Look up towards the ceiling if that's comfy on your neck. So dig your heel in, elongate that line, roll it back to the wall behind. Breathe steady. Then top hand behind your back, palm face out. Look down at your front foot, turn your whole shoulders and everything, relax them. Press into that foot, take a breath in to come up. Hands on hips. Turn your toes to the front. Couple of breaths here. It's that whole chatter again that needs time to settle down. And then gently walk your feet towards each other. Take a lie down on your back. That nice feeling of no action required in your legs, no action required in your hands and arms. And then a bend of your knees. Bring your knees onto your chest to have a rock side to side. And then feet to the floor. So we're going to make our way up to sitting in whatever way you want. And then we're going to sit cross-legged for a twist. So if you don't like sitting cross-legged, if your legs or hips or knees don't like sitting cross-legged, then please don't. Have a block if you've got a block or a cushion for sitting cross-legged to start with as we twist, because you want every help you can get to be lifted in your spine. So if you find it really difficult, it's fine to sit on a chair even, where you can sit with your spine completely upright. Cross-legged is good for today if that's comfy for you. So how can you sit as tall as spine as straight, ready to twist? Because we don't want to be slouching to twist. We want to be as upright as possible. What action do you have to make as you sit cross-legged? Just have a moment to feel that. You can have a bit of grip on your knees if that gives a bit of help. But to me it feels like it's like a strong foundation on my block. So don't sit on the edge of the block, sit well back on the block, have a good foundation on the block. Or even if you're on the floor, you know, a rock side to side, get as much flesh on the floor as you can. And then it's a lifting of the sides of the waist again. A relax of the shoulders. So once you've got your tallest place, take your left hand on the floor behind. Keep your right hand on your right knee, but know that you can move it across if you'd rather. See what the best place is for your hand. Take a breath in to be tall, and then as you exhale, turn to the left. So every breath in, rethink about that base and the lift through the sides of the waist, to relax the shoulders, and then as you exhale, leave around a little bit further with your own breath. One final breath in, final exhale and turn, and then gently relax as you come back to the centre. Stay sitting tall. And then right hand on the floor behind. Left hand wherever you want it. So this knee, the other knee, maybe on the shin, just to give yourself a bit of wherever you get good leverage. I quite like it on the shin. Take a breath in, lift tall, and then take a breath out to turn to the right. So every breath counts. Don't take any breaths that you're not aware of. And you don't have to twist your head too far over the right shoulder. Just have it where it's comfy. It's about turning the spine. The last two breaths, now you're going to turn your head right over the right shoulder. So a breath in to lift tall, breath out to turn. One more breath in. Final breath out. And then release as you come back to the centre. So stretch your legs out. We're going to cross leg again. I did mean to say, make sure you know which leg was in front, but it's like when you cross your arms, there's always a natural way. The other one feels really unnatural. So when you recross, cross the other way, cross the unnatural way. If you cross naturally and then look at that and change it over. But whichever leg is in front, make it the other one to last time. So we're going to fold forwards this time. You might want to not be on a block. That can be quite nice to do it not on a block. But if you're on a block, sit well back on your block. Don't try and tilt forwards off the block. Sit nice and firmly on it. And then hands on your knees once again. Find that lift again. Lift up through the sides of your waist whilst keeping a good base on the floor. And then lift your arms. So to lift your arms higher, you've really got to press down into the block or the floor. Take a breath in. Keep that lift of your arms. And then as you exhale, lean your rib cage forwards. So keep your arms lifting as if you're reaching up to the top corner of the wall in front of you. Push your hips back. Don't let yourself tip off your block or the floor. Just find that initial bit of fold forwards and then let your hands come down to the floor to give yourself a bit of support. Look down at the floor. Relax your hips. Keep pushing them down to the floor, but just see if you can relax your shoulders down a little bit more. So you're not forcing, you're just relaxing. I'm going to come onto the side. You can use your hands to give you any support that you need, because without hands, your hips have to tighten to hold you. So have whatever support you need. with your hands. That can be in front, it can be out the side, it can be at the back if you're further upright. But soften your shoulders. Let your hands push your bum back down towards the floor slightly. If it's comfy, you can close your eyes. Okay. So for most of us, this is slightly awkward and a bit difficult, but for some, and I think that's you, Anda, you can really walk your hands forwards and stretch out. Make it a nice, luscious stretch. Just releasing your hips, letting your rib cage feel heavy. And then walk your hands slowly back under your shoulders if they were forwards of there, so that you can lift your shoulders up, bringing yourself back up into your sitting tall position, and then stretch your legs out again. Give them a good shake, whatever they need. And then remove your block if you're on a block. Take a lie down on the floor. Have your knees bent for a moment. And bring your right knee onto your chest. Squeeze it in nice and tight. And then with your hands on the back of the thigh, stretch your heel up towards the ceiling. Elongate that leg. Give it a good stretch. Relax your shoulders. We're just going to stretch it for a little moment. And then bend it again. Ease it down onto your chest. And then right foot on the floor. Left knee onto your chest. Squeeze it in. And then hands on the back of your thigh. Heel up towards the ceiling. Bend it again. Ease it in. Foot to the floor. And then stretch your legs out. Take your feet as wide apart as the mat. And then let your legs flop completely. Arms slightly away from the sides of your body. Palm face up. Rested on the floor. Make sure your shoulders are relaxed. Maybe a little rock side to side to release your shoulder blades. Just to let them slide down your back a bit. Close your eyes. Come back to that visualization that there's a balloon in your tummy, and every time you breathe in, that balloon inflates. Every time you breathe out, it softens. So your body is completely relaxed, your arms and your legs heavy to the floor. Your breath just makes that balloon inflate, and your breath then makes your tummy expand and contract. See if you can become aware as you breathe like that. What tells you that you've breathed in enough air? What tells you that your balloon is full? Just observe. And if you want to, when you're ready, you can bring in that second balloon that's in your chest. So the first part of your breath in inflates your tummy balloon until that feels it's comfortably full, and then it stays full as you inflate your chest balloon. Until you get that signal that that's full, then you slowly deflate both. See if you can allow your exhalation to be slightly longer. 2 more full breaths like that, and then after that, natural breathing. And gently stretch your arms beyond your head. Bring your legs together, push your heels away, pull your toes up towards you. And then point your toes away. And release everything. And then bend your knees, bring your feet onto the mat. Knees onto your chest, one hand on each knee. Let your hands guide your knees around in a big circle. And then take the circle the other way. And change it from circling to side as you check which side you've got space to roll to. And then take that roll all the way onto one side. Gently make your way back up to sitting. Namaste. Thank you for joining me. I hope you have a very good week.